Everybody, I'm Chef Ange. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome to my kitchen. On today's episode, I want to show you an amazing hors d'oeuvre recipe. This is deviled eggs. This recipe that I put together for you is true to the classic recipe. It's just jazzed up a little bit with a piece of bacon on top, a little bit of ingredients to really bring out the flavors of those egg yolks. No matter what the occasion, your guests are going to be excited for the hors d'oeuvres. But before I get into the recipe video, check the description box below. Down there's the full ingredient list and all the directions. And while you're down there, subscribe to my channel, get that notification bell on so you can find out when I drop new recipe and tip videos. Let's get cooking.
One of the challenges to making deviled eggs is hard boiling a lot of eggs at once without breaking any of them. So we're going to put them in a pot one at a time nice and carefully, and we're going to cover them up until they're covered with at least an inch of water over the top of the eggs. We're going to put this on the stove, and we're going to bring this up to a boil. As soon as it's boiling, we're going to shut off the heat, and we're just going to let that sit there 12 minutes with a cover on, and you got perfectly hard boiled eggs. So now we're going to cut some bacon, and I like to cut my bacon frozen. It's just way easier to handle, and we're making 24 half eggs, so 24 pieces of bacon cut into about inch pieces. Now once our eggs are cooled, we're going to take our time and peel each one individually. And eggs are just like people. Some are easy going and easy to get along with, and some are jerks, and you're going to have to deal with them just a little bit longer with a little bit more patience. This is a trick that I saw that I wanted to try out. I've never done this before, but I just sprayed my knife with a little oil, and it did seem to help cut these eggs a little easier. And once they're all cut in half, we're going to be really careful to remove the yolks one at a time, making sure that I'm leaving the whites totally intact. Once we removed all the yolks, let's start dressing them up. So this is going to start off with a little mayonnaise, and I'm just using avocado oil mayonnaise. It's just my preferred mayonnaise that I like to use. And then for some creaminess, we're going to add some Greek yogurt. You can also use sour cream here, a little Dijon mustard. And now we're going to put a little hot sauce in there. The hot sauce that I'm using is some Sriracha. I like the sweetness and the heat that it brings. And now we're going to season it with a little bit of my base seasoning, which is a blend of garlic powder, onion powder, salt, and pepper. There's a link to the video recipe in the description. And now for a little acidity, we're going to splash in a little white wine vinegar. And once all those ingredients are in there, we're going to use our whisk to mash the egg yolks and mix those ingredients. And if there's any yolks that are a little pesky or stubborn, we're going to take a fork and we'll just mash it up on the side of the bowl, and that'll crumble them up really nicely. And then we'll just go back in the whisk to incorporate whatever's not incorporated. We're going to throw this in the fridge because we want this a little cool. Now we're going to add that bacon into a pan, and I find that frozen bacon crisps up very, very nicely. You just have to take your time with it. It'll start to defrost, then it'll start to crumble into individual pieces. Once they are in individual pieces, lay them nice and flat, and we're going to try to get a crisp on both sides, just like we would if we were making bacon slices. Once that bacon is nice and crispy and fully cooked, we're going to take out those pieces one at a time and add them to a plate lined with some paper towel to absorb any of that extra grease, because we're just going to want those nice crispy slices to throw right on top of those egg yolks. Once we have all our ingredients prepped, now we can start assembling. So our egg yolk mixture has cooled a little bit, so we're going to put that into a piping bag that I have here in this measuring cup just to hold it up nice and still. And now really carefully, I'm going to fill each one of these, and I'm using the fancy end that's got the star shape, and that's just going to add a nice little detail to the egg yolks. But I'm just going to go in one by one and making sure that I'm putting enough to really mound it over the top of those whites. I don't want to skimp out on the egg yolks. I want to make sure that I'm using enough of it. And now we're going to garnish with a little smoked paprika for some smoky flavor. And now we're going to add some fresh ingredients. So these are some finely chopped red onions. Now we're going to put some chives for that green pop of color. And now that our bacon is cooled and it's nice and crispy, we're going to stick that in there just like a shark fin on the top of each one of these. And now these wonderful little appetizers are all ready for your guest. And just as I promised in the beginning of this video, this is true to the classic recipe. It's just elevated a little bit with some nice ingredients and a piece of bacon. And bacon plus eggs always works no matter what, especially here.
Now all I need is a party to serve these two because these look absolutely unbelievable. I mean, look at this. I mean, this bite is going to be so delicious between the crispy bacon, the creaminess of that egg yolk, the egg on the bottom, the little bit of garnish. Well, enough talking about it. Let's see what's going on with these deviled eggs. That is really, really good. I mean, a little bit of tang coming in from that vinegar, the creaminess of the egg yolk, smokiness and the crispiness of the bacon. So like texture-wise, this is really diverse. Got really, really nice flavor. Let's do another one. You know, the biggest problem you're gonna have after making these is gonna be people fighting over the last one because these are so good. Well, I'm Chef Ange. These are my deviled eggs. If you did like this video, don't forget to give the like button a little love. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, go ahead and do that. Get that notification bell on, and I hope to see you on the next video. Cheers.